Hello, thank you guys so much for joining our group today. We are presenting Chapter 15, Leading Non-Performing Employees, Leadership Responsibility. My name is Gerard Williams.
My name is Odwan Yatola Biolaoye.
And I'm Medina Dauda. So we will jump right into the chapter 15 overview. This chapter mainly focuses on how leaders respond to and support employees who are not meeting performance expectation. Non-performance is not always due to a lack of ability. Sometimes it comes from stress, burnout, unclear expectation, weak onboarding, and poor communication. Leaders are responsible for proactive identification, coaching, accountability, and team culture supports to get that rectified. And how we respond as leader determines if an employee improves, disengage, or leaves the company as a whole. Why non-performance happens. Some of the common causes are a lack of training and competency gaps, low confidence or fear-based behavior, burnout and emotional fatigue, which are very common in the healthcare field, unclear expectation or constantly shifting standards, culture problems as avoidant leadership, blame culture, and no feedback loops, and micro signal issues, which are lateness, withdrawal, defensive body language, and often comes before performance drops. Chapter 15 teaches leaders to recognize this early and address the root cause and not just the symptoms of the issue.
So, what are our responsibilities when it comes to leadership, and what should our approaches be? As leaders, we must provide clear expectations and measurable outcomes. It's important that employees understand what their job responsibilities are and that we are giving them the tools that they need to be able to reach those expectations or even exceed them. We must give timely feedback and not wait until annual evaluations. So, it's important that we schedule reviews or schedule feedback, whether it's weekly, bi-weekly, monthly. There needs to be a set schedule where feedback is received rather than just waiting until that annual evaluation time. We must use coaching before jumping to discipline. So it's important if you see any gaps, that employees have an opportunity to fix those or to correct those gaps before we discipline specifically to those things. We must document performance concerns and support efforts. And we also must protect psychological safety. It's important, again, that we are leading with that empathy. So we need to understand where the employees are, what they may be going through, and that we work through those things so that they can be their best selves when it comes to their jobs and their performance. And we also need to know when to escalate to corrective action. Strong leaders balance empathy with accountability.
So let's put our theory to practice. Imagine you're a nurse manager in a busy surgical unit and you notice that one of your RNs has had multiple medication errors, increased charting delays, and team conflicts. Some of the staff have actually come to you and said that she's checked out mentally during her shift. You meet with her and then you find out that she's been overwhelmed because she recently returned from maternity leave and she's struggling with her workload and childcare stress. She stresses that she's actually afraid to come to leadership because she does not want to seem incompetent, as if she does not know how to do her job. As a leader, like Gerard discussed, there are steps that you can take in order to rectify these issues. First, you can start by having a supportive conversation with her, coaching her through this conversation. Then clarify the expectation that you as a leader have and review some of the standards that are held within that department. Arrange for her to have a lighter assignment for a little while and refresh her on any SOPs, med safety trainings, or anything that is pertinent to her job duties. And then schedule weekly check ins with her for about 60 days to 90 days, whatever the company sees fit. And once those steps have been come about, and if the performance does not improve at that time, then you can move towards corrective action through HR support.
All right, so now to the case study. Cedar Crest Health Center, mid-site public health clinic in Texas, has recently faced increasing patient dissatisfaction and workload delays. The clinic director, Erica Johnson, has noticed that one of her long-serving medical assistant, Thomas, has become increasingly unproductive, frequently arriving late, missing documentation deadlines, and avoiding new technology initiatives, such as updated electronic health record system. His behavior has begun to affect team morale as other staff members are covering his workload and expressing frustration. Erica suspects that Thomas' decline may be tied to either a lack of training, burnout, or resistance to leadership changes implemented earlier in the year. She now faces a leadership dilemma. Should she issue a formal written warning, refer Thomas for retaining and mentoring, place him on a performance improvement plan, or consider termination? Each option carries implication for morale, fairness, and the clinic's overall culture of accountability and compassion. The decision will test Erica's leadership, communication, and alignment with organizational policy regarding the management of non-performing employees. The case study questions. How should Erica balance companion and accountability when determining the most appropriate response to Thomas' declining performance? Which leadership strategies from the chapter, such as coaching, mentoring, or progressive correction action, would be the best first course of action? And lastly, how might Erica's decision impact team morale, organizational culture, and perceptions of fairness among other staff members in the clinic?
All right, so now for our discussion prompt. As leaders in healthcare, we're often challenged to address declining employee performance while maintaining a positive and productive work culture. Reflecting on the Cedar Crest Health Center case, imagine you are in Erica Johnson's position. The question you want to answer is, how would you approach a long-term employee whose performance has declined, especially when their behavior is beginning to affect the rest of the team? In your response, make sure that you consider how leadership style, communication, and organizational policy influence your decision. Would you prioritize coaching and mentorship, or would you move directly toward progressive disciplinary action? And what factors would you consider when making this decision? How can a leader ensure fairness and consistency while still demonstrating empathy and support? Feel free to use examples or insights from your own workplace experience as well as the chapter to support your position.
This is going to be the YouTube link where you can find the presentation that we went over today. It will be recorded and saved for you to view at your own convenience. And for our presentation today, we used our textbook, which is the Leadership for Health Professional Theory, Skills, and Application.
And these are the additional resources that we will recommend for leaders that want to deal with the non-performing employees.
All right, so we want to thank you guys so much for joining our presentation. We hope you enjoyed it as much as we did. If you have any further questions or any information for us, our email addresses are listed here. Please feel free to reach out to us. Thank you so much.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Thank you.